What you do? It's like a baby. Yeah. All right. How can Austin lead the market for tech talent? With Ahmed Reza, Nicole Cobler, and Dr. Edward Zuckerberg. It'll be a fascinating panel. And take it away.
Thank you. This is on, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm Nicole Cobler. I'm a reporter with Axios. I'm based here in Austin. I don't know if there's anyone locally based here, but if you are in Austin, you should subscribe to our free newsletter. It is truly a daily roundup of local news, tech, real estate. I'm I'm biased, but I would suggest it for anyone based here. I'm really excited today to chat with Ahmed Reza and Ed Zuckerberg, and we're gonna talk first about your connection to each other. I'd love to hear about how you both met, and of course, introduce yourself too.
Certainly. Hi, I'm Ahmed Reza. I am an AI geek, a serial entrepreneur, and the founder of Yobi, which is a unified communications app, but really what we make are digital synths. So it's a synthetic agent. So I have a synth right now that's having multiple conversations online in my voice. It's here. Hello. We just recently started rolling it out, but our app is focused on small businesses, although we're getting a lot of interest from larger businesses as well now. But we wanted to supercharge the entrepreneur. So if you're a small business owner, you wanted to hire somebody else to do sales, now you can just literally clone yourself and you can do more sales, more marketing, and have the synth handle a lot of the interactions for you. But as far as our story of how we met, I'm actually going to hand it off to Dr. Z because I've just already told you one really crazy thing. I don't want to do two.
So I've been a dentist for 45 years, although I have really limited how many mouths my hands have been in the last 10 years since I moved to California. Having 3 kids, migrate from New York out here, didn't get my wife and I to follow until the first grandchild was born. So we relocated. I've been teaching, lecturing, advising startups in the oral healthcare field. Now I'm in venture capital for a company, Revere Partners, that invests only in pre-seed and early seed oral healthcare companies. And I'm also the chief dental officer for 2 companies, Keystone Bio and Viome, that are raising the standing of dentists as primary healthcare practitioners through the knowledge that certain bacteria, P. gingivalis, which if you haven't heard of it, you will soon, is a primary driver for what's what of diseases affecting mankind: heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, digestive cancers, arthritis, you name it. And I was lecturing in Las Vegas about 6 years ago, and I was walking the exhibit floor at a dental meeting, and there was this guy that caught my eye wearing a sumo wrestling suit, and that was this guy. And he was promoting his company at the time, which was Call Sumo, which was doing call analytics for dental offices. So we met. Ahmed was based in San Jose, and I'm based in Los Altos, both in the Bay Area and California. We had coffees and decided to kind of collaborate. And I've been, I guess the best word to describe me is a sounding board for ideas and help shape Ahmed, with some of his pivots. I think I was instrumental in convincing him to finally take some money, and Ahmed had been pretty successful and was funding his current startup by himself. And, I discussed the importance of establishing valuation by raising money and also helping him grow. So I think I finally got through. It took a while to get through on that one.
It did. Also, Dr. Z's been very instrumental in the way that whenever we build something, we show it to him, and he tells us how creepy it is. So
I didn't know that I would get a sumo wrestler story out of asking that question, first of all. I and both of you are based in the Bay Area, but Ahmed and I were just talking about how in 2017, like that's not that long ago, but Austin was not the kind of tech hub that it is today. And I'm really interested in hearing like what has changed and what do you think makes the city now attractive to these startups that are like coming from California to Austin?
So we considered moving to Austin, and in 2017 during the summer we hung out in Austin for a little while. It was a little hot, but we used to live in Florida before, so we didn't mind the heat too much. The part of it that ultimately made us decide to be in the Bay Area is the concentration of the number of geeks, to be honest, right? Like you're weird and you're around other really weird geeks, and it's really amazing. Like I love it. And then during the pandemic, most of those, not most, many of those geeks moved to Austin, and I was like, dude, it's like, so I think Austin's changed significantly. You've had some pretty significant folks move here, and as they moved, the tech community grew here as well. And the governor, the state, the city, I think have also been very, very supportive as well. And the best part that I liked about Austin when I came in 2017 was that it said keep Austin weird. It's like being a weird person, feels like home. And I was thinking about what to wear today, and I figured everybody would be dressed like me, so I wanted to dress like not me. But it's kind of hot.
Yes. And Dr. Zuckerberg, you were a really early adopter of technology in dental offices, and you've worked very closely with small businesses now and startups. Like, I wonder if you can kind of talk about how just the biggest barriers that small businesses face when they're, especially when it comes to recruiting and retaining top talent.
The pandemic obviously has been a big challenge. People had a pretty cushy first few months of existence if you consider that everybody was not working and getting paid. A lot of offices were getting, the funding from the payroll protection program and paying their employees. Everybody thought this was a couple of month thing that became like a year and a half, although the dental industry pretty much shut down early March of 2020 and then started resuming in May, June for most people. But immediately we noticed a lot of employees were balking, whether it was a question of safety or, I don't know, people where they got the money to live on, but people didn't seem anxious to come back to work even when their salaries were cut off. So a lot of challenges, especially in the areas of like dental hygiene, dental assisting, and whatnot. I was fortunate enough to have packed up and sold my practice in 2013, but I was always, I saw a lot of my competitors and a lot of my colleagues really fight with staffing issues. And it was a nightmare whenever someone did leave, when you had to remove someone or someone was moving or they got married and had a kid and decided not to work anymore. Training, changing employees was a nightmare. And I just decided it might be more expensive in the short run to pay more and offer benefit packages like pension plan, insurance coverage, vacation, sick, etc. Things that weren't common in the dental industry. But it allowed me to keep my office manager for 25 years, my hygienist for 15 years, assistants for 10 plus years. So I had very little staff turnover, and that's not the case today. People are transient, and the dental industry is also in a money crunch. The era when I started dentistry, where 75% of dental practices were owned by small business owner type dentists like myself has changed now to where corporate dentistry owns a lot of dentistry. So corporate dentistry is always looking for efficient ways to run the business, and staffing is, they can't afford to be as generous as I was with staff. So it's a challenge.
And that's definitely been a challenge with, I mean, especially big tech companies. Ahmed, you've talked a lot about how these big tech layoffs that we're seeing right now have been really helpful for startups, and I know that's been the case in Austin too. How has that translated for you in your startup field? Are you able to, I guess, recruit these big tech talent?
This has been for startups, this is actually a great time to build a company. I know that's there's been a lot of things happening with the SVB thing yesterday. I'm sure that's fresh on everybody's minds. But I've never been this excited to be building a startup. Things were really frothy, to be honest, in the last few years. Even in Silicon Valley and other places, things were frothy. But now, if you're building something really serious, you can now attract talent from the places like Google. And of course, we wouldn't steal from Facebook. No, but honestly, folks who wouldn't consider a small startup like Yobi before are joining us, and it's been incredible to get extraordinary talent. We have been able to actually recruit some amazing people from Google, from Salesforce, and others that have pioneered artificial intelligence, have taken many products to market, folks I would not dream of.
Right, and how do you differentiate yourself? I mean, and I guess, do you have any tips for Austin startups when they're trying to take big tech talent that's being laid off?
So I think you have to be with the times, and you also have to be quick on your feet. In our case, we are pretty agnostic about whether you work from the office or what does work look like. So we have hacker houses in Miami, in LA, and probably soon in Austin. So if we find great talent, we'll bring the hackers out together, and we'll get our laptops out, and we will hack social media style and build the next greatest AI company in the world out of this new paradigm of sort of working from home and working from your work home.
Right, and I think my other, I guess, a concern for Austinites right now is that we're growing too rapidly. The tech industry is booming and causing a lot of issues with affordability, housing. I'm not asking you to solve those problems for us right now, but I wonder if seeing what you're seeing in the Bay Area, if you have any advice for founders, especially when it comes to diversity or just being a part of your community and kind of helping, at least alleviating some of those issues in a city.
You might regret asking me that question because this answer is going to be long. So one of the things that I really want to lean into is, take philosophy seriously, take thinking deeply seriously. As a tech geek, working on AI, working on fun technology is really awesome. And many of us never really thought through what the impact of that would be. And that's something I've been thinking through very deeply about. What does it mean to live a meaningful life? What is my legacy going to be? What is our legacy going to be? And oftentimes I see a lot of tech CEOs vilified. They're not bad people. It's just that sometimes we were just like, oh, I'm just a little random hacker working away on my startup. Oh, it's really cool that we got featured on TechCrunch or we got this. But now being here today, we can look at second order effects and third order effects and go, hey, I never thought that this would perpetuate homelessness. And sure, it's really nice getting very wealthy, but I see a lot of folks who actually made money in tech get into philanthropy and get into try to figure out how to solve problems. And I wish more people understood that those folks who are getting into philanthropy, they genuinely want to help. Maybe they didn't think about what would happen, and they're trying to do the best that they can. So I'm leaning into the better angels of our nature, especially as we start working on things like synthetic agents, right? So as we start working on synthetic agents, I would love for everybody to have their own synthetic clone. And that synthetic clone being on the blockchain that can go work for you. So it frees up time. And it just fundamentally changes how we do work. But instead of me getting all of the money, which I don't mind, I do want some of your money, but instead of just me getting all of your money, it should be spread out to all of us so that we grow the economic pie. So instead of having crazy disparities, like a few people having everything and others having nothing, as a technologist, I possibly get to dictate what happens in the future. And it's important for me to understand finance. So I've been reading up on finance, talking to my fellow geeks about finance, about Seneca, and about philosophy, because all of those things are really important to the future that we get to build.
Dr. Zuckerberg, you have anything to weigh in there?
Well, I'm obviously keenly interested in what Ahmed's doing, but I always kind of, even though a lot of what he's doing is more global, I kind of localize it again, and it's probably a pain in the butt sometimes because he knows the question's coming from me. How does this fit into a dental practice? It's kind of like my world is different than the global world kind of thing.
What are you thinking when he's telling you about these synthetic?
Well, it's all really cool, and obviously, we've looked together at a widget that I have on my website where a patient can. It's kind of like a 24/7 answering machine, modern day version, where they can actually chat with a live person that's there. But that's like such a waste of, somebody's got to be up all the time. A company's employing people that are monitoring multiple websites and actually answering questions and triaging who really needs to see a dentist in the middle of the night, or can this wait till tomorrow or the weekend or whatnot. And some of the tasks that Ahmed and I have been talking about that can be sort of automated or replaced by a clone of a person, or a SIN in this case, will really revolutionize care all around.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. Dr. Z, back in the 80s, had a phone in his bedroom, turned down very low, so if he was awake, he could hear it. And somebody called him in the middle of the night that had a dental emergency. And when he answered, they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you answered." And I know that Dr. Z would love to give that kind of service, right? And I have a lot of friends who are dentists who really want to take care of their customers, who really want to provide that level of service. But right now they can't. And we see a world where they can actually pick up the phone, talk you through, right? And to a small business, you can imagine, to an entrepreneur who's fast on his feet or her feet, can start taking advantage of this technology to augment themselves in ways where the future of business just looks very different.
And totally fine if this is a tough question to answer for you because we're talking about Austin and you don't live here, but have you thought at all about how Austin's AI scene has played a role and just kind of like that greater picture? Is Austin, I wonder if Austin is keeping up, I guess, with Silicon Valley.
Shout out to Jasper. Jasper raised 100 million plus, and they were one of the first pioneering AI companies based out of right here in Austin. Yeah. So
we're keeping up.
Not only keeping up, I think that's where you see Austin not just keeping up, but leading. And what's been really exciting about the AI revolution is it's coming from all over. Stable Diffusion, Stability AI. Ahmad Mushtaq is from London. So it's not just coming from the Bay Area. Yes, you have a huge concentration of AI talent there, but with the proliferation of artificial intelligence and with the rise of open source as I'm seeing it, I'm really excited because I think this will empower communities all around the world. And I see a very bright future for Austin and other cities that have a lot of geeks. If you're weird, if you're artistic, if you're creative, I think you have an unfair advantage in this future.
My last question for you both is, we've talked a lot about how now the geeks are in Austin. You love Austin. Why aren't you living here yet? Why haven't you brought your company to Austin?
Okay, so I love Los Gatos. It's really nice. But like I said, I said it in the very beginning, like I'm a little bit weird. So who says I don't live in Austin? Thanks to Airbnb, I live almost everywhere. If you follow me on social media, at least like the real posts. Oh, wait. I mean, yes, they're all real posts, not written by my synth. But the ones with pictures in it and videos in it, you'll notice that I'm in Spain, I'm in Florida, I'm in different places. And we have team members all around the world. And I think that's the new way to work, is if you like a city, if you have family close by, in a future that you want to optimize for happiness, you know, if I want to build a very successful company, I want to be in all of those places. Yeah. So I look forward to spending more time in Austin as we recruit more AI talent. Holla.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you both. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.